5D Mystic's Guide to Enlightenment is always going to involve our lovely personal development, functional adult journey, because enlightenment is the optimization of you, the human being of you, and being yourself and your well-being. So I tend to do this and that, by the way, anybody who's new, and I am much aware of this, but I'm aware that a 5D Mystics guide will lead to only those who are inclined to be oneness consciousness, which means they will actually have the ability to use their left and right mode together and not sit in that which is not 5D. And so functional adults are going to be resonating because they're independent with their thoughts and their emotions. So they take food for thought and they're not making a list and asking questions while they're actually curious. Intelligent ones wander, and that's what a 5D mystic is, which is why we do not do 4D anything. And so when we have the initiation of our clairs, we don't think, not even remotely, to the word anointed. And we do not in any way, shape, or form get confused with what it is to be in enlightenment. Because even though they might use the word spirituality process, we will know I'm a human, first of all, and that word spirituality process is a concept and a subject matter that comes from a specific line of thought and da-da-da-da. So when I meet religion, it's the same thing. That comes from a specific line of thought. So we're in Mahasamadhi, Samadhi instinctively because I'm a self and you're a self, and I'm taking in that information and I'm hearing it and I'm knowing what you're saying. I'm not defining life with your information. No, you're one piece of life. So yeah, you're adding to my information bank. So 5D Mystics Guide will only be one of a guide for those who are 5D. So 4D is not here. In fact, they right now are in their pissy pants because of a lot of things, and I will do my best to stay in my Krishna Lila mode right now, because see, here's where, when you know the consistency of what is called Purusha Prakriti, which is unconditionally loving, who you are with flaws and imperfections, or just unconditional love and awareness of self, Purusha, that's what consciousness is, and there you go. And then you know Prakriti, which is the pure energy you are, which it's your embodied nervous system brain, so your embodied brain, I should say, because they're not separate. And see, when you understand that you and I both have the same way we begin our day, which is we wake up, luckily, if we can, and we breathe. And our already nervous system is engaged. So here's the love button people, which are my 5D mystics, and anybody who's moved into being a love button, which means they will have done their healing journey. So they're now officially a functional adult. They can sit in their body with all the sensations that come up, all of them, because they have a relationship with their emotional body. It's very important to note that they have a window now of welcome and not one of tolerance. So their body and their head is a friend and safe haven, secure base, it's called. So 5D is secure attachment, or at the very least understanding that you want to get there. So you don't make a shameful, blameful, faultful, or vengeful excuse when you hurt a person because of the addictive behaviors / compulsive behaviors that come from your maladaptive responses as an adaptive child and grown up, but their safety responses as your inner child has began when you were 0 years old to do things in a nervous system way to help you cope with what is trauma. Unresolved trauma, it's trauma memory. And thank you, Peter Levine, for letting us know it's stored in your bones, muscles, and tissues. And people who don't want to believe in the updated trauma-informed information will tell us how BS all of this is, and it's okay. The ancients continue to want a silverback, and they look to culty cults and traditional cults, meaning anyone who tells me what to do. I want rigidity now, because rigidity gives me the ability to harness power and control somehow to change the world or to take care of the world. And here's why 4D thinks they're anointed, because they continue to exist in an energy that is one that involves 3D, 4D vibration, and that's beneath the neutrality vibration of equanimity, which is where all truth is, because in your prefrontal cortex, You can only be there if you're locked in and loaded and not in a sea where your limbic system is alert, 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 and you're now being taken over by that limbic system is alert, alert, and the brainstem in the meantime has already said, we're in danger, and the person who's dealing with another, instead of realizing, oh wait, we have different religious beliefs, societal beliefs, we do different thoughts. So I know, see, I went from that to there here because I'm trying to make a point of functional adults actually don't use our charge states. We learn how to work with them as we get older, and it's from the beginning of time, because when you were 0, 1, 2, 3, you will have at a certain point decided, your body will, not you. So our body actually in the first 7 months of life, because the right brain of yours as well as mine is all mine. I know a lot of people create stories in the 4D land about why someone can or can, and it's unfortunate that they don't know about lovely Patrick McNamara and the religious self-explanation from this theoretical neuroscientist who's been studying. They're still studying, and you can look him up. But he explains and shows in a video where he's interviewed about how there's no demonic possession when people have the nightmares that then lead them to get demonic possessed. It's not that something breaks in their actual physiological brain. And I need to still read the book, but I was like, wow, this is good news. So 4D can stop creating horror stories, and the tarot readers really are who I'm thinking about. Every time there's energy around, they're always insulting each other because they don't recognize that they're all in what is called rumination, and they're all taken over by anger, the automatic thinking of anger. They're in a biochemistry of fear, and they're not addicted to it, but they're all doing visceral because the movies make it look cool to do that stuff. And that's not enlightenment. But enlightenment isn't somebody sitting in the middle of the mountains either. That's why 5D Mystics Guide, it's you being an actual compassionate human being. You don't need to trauma-inform stuff, but obviously here's where, if you don't know it and you got all these people around who are being non-disciples because they see compulsive people and they're like, there, let me go judge that human being over there for drinking too much. That one thieved, I'm going to go judge them. That one over there, I want that one, they're the sinner. So, you got non-disciples because they are actually not trying to be grown-ups of themselves. They're busy pointing fingers and not remembering we all were 0-year-old, and they don't know about the trauma-informed stuff. So they actually don't say, wow, there's unresolved trauma there and there, and unresolved trauma over here and over here. Oh, wow, we really should go and see if they can use some compassion. You don't want it. Okay, we'll leave you to it. So there's a way that a 5D mystic will know how to always be in a state of love without even one day of Sadhguru. But when we do get Sadhguru, it's great. Love means you nurturing a life beyond opinions and prejudice. It's very easy for those of us who are somatic empaths, and that's a 5D mystic. So it means we don't get angry in the shower while we're thinking about somebody we love who might have, hurt our feelings, quote unquote. No, we had a misalignment. And it can be really sucky, like big time or little time. I was a teenager, I grew up, and it's nice to grow out of the whole thinking only in twos and to have a rainbow of colors. So it is very beautiful to achieve emotional maturity. That's what a 5D mystic does. And that's why you move into the Enlightenment Soul Age group. And there are the light bodies and the rainbow bodies and everything that the 4D mystics talk about. That's why we have paid subscription-based model content for my 5D mystics. Because yes, we do have an oversoul, and it's beautiful. We don't have codependent relationships though. So we don't go trying to change the people who stay in other soul age groups. We do not try to take care of people who stay in the other soul age groups or people who stay with their unresolved trauma. So they can do the shaming, the blaming, the faulting, the hurting. They're all a low self-esteem. They are passive-aggressive. Their manipulation is where they use words that they think will, make us sad, but their indirect communication is clear because they really are trying to control something, and they're not really giving us room to engage. So they're not being mindful of us, and we're going to be mindful of them. And here's why functional adults always in 5D create more relationships, not less. So we don't get involved in codependent. We get involved in independent, and we do know that those who are hurting could use a compassionate eyes, and that's why those Zen masters get those compulsive individuals out of their compulsiveness, because we say, you don't have to be ashamed of you. You're perfect with your imperfections, flaws all. Come over here and let's grow up. And so people who want to move into secure attachment and functional adulthood, we get to create our 5D mystic and adult community. Join us.